Alright, welcome back everyone to A Programmer Plays Master Key. We're continuing on with playing the Nonograms. Last time we got through Nonogram 55, so we're going to start today with Nonogram 56. Alright, it is 7 wide and 11 tall. Right off the bat, you can see that there's an 11 pixel column just to start us off. Completes this row, nice. Also completes this row, very nice. And this row, very nice. Which lets us now, we can look at here and say, well, can't fit a 3 here or here. Couldn't fit a 3 or here or here. Couldn't fit a 5 here or here. We can also not fit a 3 here. Beautiful. Wait, this is gonna be a quick one. We also can say, hey, it's 7 wide, so these two 7s are already Dunsky. We can look at our verticals here and say, alright, the 5, it's gonna have to at least come up to here. And we can look at the 6 there and say, alright, well, there's only 6 pixels available, and there's only 2 pixels available down there. So that completes that. That also completes this row and this row. That also completes this 3 for us, which is the one has to be one of these 2 pixels. There's only one way that we can fit a 5 and a 1 in here, so we can go ahead and complete that row out. It does tell us, hey, that's this vertical column 3 already finished. There's only one way for this 3 to go, which means that this pixel has to be filled in for the horizontal 5. That completes that. It also means that this row is Dunsky, which gives us a left edge for the 3 there, and there's only 1 pixel remaining. Nice little key. So that was a nice, easy, quick start. On to Nonogram 57. This one's 15 wide by 15 tall, so could not be more different from the previous one. Alright. So, good news, we can look at that middle horizontal 3, 1, 3, 1, 3. That only fits in one way, which lets us go ahead and close out this vertical 1. Same story over here. And looking at our 7s, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we know that it couldn't reach all the way up or all the way down like that. What else can we infer? One, 7, 1, 1 space, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7 space 1, or 1 space, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the 7's going to be hitting these kind of no matter what. And say the same thing about this row, where the 7's going, there's no way for the 7 to not overlap, given the information that we already know. I don't think that helps us yet, our verticals. Though, hold on. 3, 7, 3, 1, 2, 3, space, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, space, 3. Yeah, so there's only one way that this vertical works out. So we can go ahead and plug that in. That does give us the rest of our 3 here, or our 1 here. So we've already basically contracted the play area, so to speak, down to 13 by 13. What else can we infer? 1, 2, 3, space 1. There's still room for this to be a little bit weird. I think we could actually say this pretty much has to be 1, 2, space 1, space 1, or the other way around. Okay, so we can't quite make that assertion that I was thinking of, but we're getting there. We can pretty much assume that this is going to be a star shape, right? But space 1, 5, 6. That doesn't quite help us. We can largely assume. All right, so we can't fit 1, 2, and 3 above this middle point. So we can assume that that has to be either the 1 or the 2 there. And kind of going further, we can't fit 1 space 1, 2, 3. We can't fit less than the 1, 2, 3 here. So we know that this pixel is filled in. We can actually pretty much assume, we can assume this. That is the 3. This has to be part of the 2, but whether it's the top or bottom pixel of the vertical 2, we just don't know. But that gives us something. Looking at the horizontal here, we can very reasonably assume that those are all the 1s. The 2s would have to be over here and would have to fill in these pixels. Whether they're left or right, some wiggle room, but we can just go ahead and make that. I'm not quite able to make assumptions about that. Looking vertically, alright, so we can look at this vertical 2, 4, 2 and say, alright, one of the 2's is going to have to be below here, and the 4, we went 1, 2, space 1, 2, 3, 4. This would be the last pixel, but coming the other way, that would be the 3rd pixel, which means that this pixel has to be filled in. And that, from there, we've got this horizontal 1, 1, 3, 1, 1. We can pretty much assume, we can look at the numbers and say this is almost certainly completely symmetric horizontally. So these are probably both 1s, with this being a 3 in there. We also could have figured that out. So there's no way to look, if you look vertically at our vertical 1, 6, 1, there's no way that we can fit a 6 and a 1 down here. So this has to be part of the 6, which means it has to be continuous. And we can actually go a step further. We can say these pixels have to be filled in for part of that 6. There's still room for it to go down a pixel or up a pixel, we don't know yet. Probably down, because this is almost certainly the 5. In fact, we can't quite say that these 2 are filled in. There's still potential for this to be asymmetric, but pretty confident. So that we can pick that out. I mean, I'm really tempted to start making assumptions that are maybe not good, but feel pretty safe. I'm trying to do this without guessing. But I think at this point we're gonna have to start. Alright, hold on. 1 space 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 space 1. So technically this could go either way. Still limited on that one. 1, 2 space 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 space 2, 4, 1, 2 space 3. That's still technically got some wiggle room. That doesn't really. We know. Again, technically some wiggle room here, but we can very safely say stuff. But all right, so I'm making the executive call that we're gonna just start making assumptions and say this is definitely symmetric, and so we can start plugging stuff in that is not guaranteed, but we can assume that it's real. Especially considering that we're starting to see the image up here. Vertical 2 there because filling that in. Horizontal 7s here. Vertical 3 would have to come out to at least here. That does give us one of our vertical 1s, another one of the vertical 1s right here. Looking at our vertical 7. Vertical 7 I'm less confident is going to be centered. The horizontal axis is very symmetric, whereas the vertical one is not. So we know that there's going to be a pixel here and a pixel here because of the horizontal 252. With the 3s on this horizontal 313, we know that these pixels have to be filled in, which does actually let us complete out our vertical 1. Vertical 1, 1, vertical 1, 1, closed. Also, just go ahead and finish this out because we know that row complete. Rows to be are fairly certain that row is complete. We also can confidently X this out because the 3 can't reach to there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Lock in that these 7s go at least these pixels, which then lets us look at our horizontals. We've got these horizontal 1s that we can close out. Cool. Looking back at our verticals, we've got those vertical 3s that are going to require us to fill in these pixels, which does complete this row for us. And with the X's that we've got, we can look at the horizontal 2s there and say, all right, that's going to be like that. Looking back at our verticals, we've got some of our 7s completed. We can complete that and that. Go ahead and X these out. And that's some 1s filled in, so we can go ahead and X those out. Looking at our vertical 3s, we need to complete those, which also does complete our horizontal 3s. We then need more vertical 3s here, so we can go ahead and do that, and we're done. A skull and a target. Right. Full disclosure, kind of got stuck on this one and decided to just take a break, move on to the other ones, and then come back to it. So here I am, coming back to it. This is Nonogram 58. Nonogram 58 is 11 pixels wide and 13 pixels tall. At 11 pixels wide, that means that this 6 is always going to fill in this pixel here and here. Because 6 on its leftmost arrangement goes over to the 6th column, 6 on its rightmost arrangement comes over to this one. So we already know this. 1 space 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We know that this horizontal 1, 5 is going to fill in this pixel. Unfortunately, with the 5, we don't know anything about where it might be. This is also a 1, 5, so it also is going to fill this in. We don't know vertically. Let's see, 1 space 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is vertically guaranteed to be filled in by that 6, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, space 1. So we don't know if these 2 are part of the 6. We know that this is part of the 6. We don't know if this is part of the 6. Let's see what else we can figure out. Can't do anything with this vertical 5. This 2, 4, 2. Or 2, 4, 1, 2. 1, 2, space 1, 2, 3, 4, space 1, 2. Let's do this. Let's do it this way. 1, 2, space 1, 2, 3, 4, space 1, space 1, 2, or 1, 2, 1, 2, space 1, space 1, 2, 3, 4, space 1, 2. So these diamonds can remove now. Basically, we've got 1 pixel of wiggle room here, so that means for the 4, we know where 3 of those pixels are gonna be. With those in place, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We know that there can't be anything here. That unfortunately doesn't narrow things down for us hardly at all, but you know, that's something. 1 space 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 1, 2, 3 space 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, hold on. 1, 2, 3 space 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 space 1, or 1 space 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 space 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I think that means that we can infer that those 2 are definitely filled in. 1, 2, 3 space 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Which then in turn tells us these 2 have to be filled in. We know that these have to be filled in for the 3, but we can't really go anywhere else. Now, with these 2 filled in, that actually does help us narrow down here. Because the horizontal 3 can only jiggle sideways so much. We can also look at our verticals here and say, alright, can't fit a lot of stuff down here. Can't fit a 5 down here or a 2 right here. Could fit a 1. With this narrowed down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This pixel has to be filled in. Alright. And that does give us 4 continuous right here, which means that the 5 couldn't reach to here. Fortunately, we could still fit a 5 on either side of this. We could still fit a 3 vertically on either side of this. But we're narrowing in. Don't know anything about the 6 here. Don't know if this is the 1 or the 3. We know that this has to be part of the 5, but we don't know if it's like the right edge of it or the left edge of it. Can't say anything about these 2s. Can't say anything about the 6. Can't say anything more about this horizontal 6. know this is the 5, but still got a pixel wiggle room. Got room for the 4 on the right-hand side of this, or the 2 on the left-hand side of this, so unfortunately can't narrow this down at all. We could have space 1, 2, 3, 4. Or we could have 1, 2, 3, 4, space, space, space. Don't know anything about this 1, 2 or this 1, 1. We know that this is part of one of the 2s, but again, we don't know which one. We don't know anything about this 5, so that sucks. Can't make any statements about this vertical 5, these vertical 2s. Can't say anything about these vertical 1s. 1, 2. We've already made our statements about this one. And this one. Lost our stuff here. Here. Alright, so we are now at the point where we've just got to start making guesses. The horizontal 1, 1 tells us that the vertical 5 and the vertical 3 here aren't side by side. They're not both up here. They could both be down here. I'm a little tempted to just speculate on that. Let's give that some speculation. So, assuming that the 5 is here, we know that there would have to be a pixel here because we've got that horizontal 3, and we know that there'd have to be a pixel here and here in order to give this 5. We know that there would have to be pixels here and here. The vertical 6 would have to be continuous here. There'd have to be nothing here. If that's the case, we'd know that that has to be like that. Couldn't have anything there. Which tells us that this would have to be here. Which would then let us fill that out. If that's the case, then this would have to be here in order to do the vertical 6, 1, so the 6 would look like that. That's actually super interesting because this has to be a 2 and this would have to be the other 2, which means that our 3 would have to be down in here. This would have to be part of the 3, this would have to be part of the horizontal 5, which means that we've got our vertical 3 completed already, means that we know our 2 down here, means that our vertical 2 here would have to go up to here, which doesn't work, because that's now 4, it just doesn't pan out. Alright, that didn't work for us. Ooh, that's a long way to go. So, if the 5 doesn't work here, let's just try plugging it in here. And you know what? I'm going to, because of the way the undo works, I'm going to leave these blanked in like that. But now just use the normal one over here. So, with that 5 in there, we can make some assertions about this. We can say, hey, the 5 has to be at least to there and can't be over to here. It means that this 2 has to be like that. It means that this 4 has to be like that. The 1 has to be like that. We also get a ton of information with that top pixels up there about our 6, another 6, 2, and that doesn't work. Interesting, because we violated our horizontal 2s here. So maybe I made a bad assumption earlier on at 5. Let's see if I can do better this time. So 5 here. We know from that 5 that these would have to be filled in. Have to come to at least here. We also know that this one would have to be filled in. That gives us a vertical 2 that we can close out. That also means that we could fill these in for the sake of the 6. Also got this horizontal 6 that we could start filling in. That's 5, so it couldn't come out to here. Got this horizontal 6 we could fill in a little bit more. It couldn't come out to here. This vertical 6, this has to be part of the 6 right here. Whether or not this is, we don't know, but the 6 would have to reach up to at least here. Could at most reach up to here. We can go ahead and X those out. That lets us close out this bit, and also we could close out this bit from the 5 being over here, and we actually can go ahead and fill some of this in. We know from these 1s, that's like that, and that's a 2, like that. That lets us fill in this 2. We really could have already inferred that we couldn't go anything right here because the 2 wouldn't fit, but we can X this out to complete our 2 there. We can also fill in at least those 4 for our 5. This is a 1, this is a 2, the 4, so we can nudge it over at least a little bit. Can't fit a 4 over here, can't fit a 2 right here, or right here. Oh, this is filled in, so we could actually complete that. So, continuing on our thought process, this 2 has to be here, this one has to be here. Don't know about that. Okay, here's something we could figure out. We can look at this vertical 2, 4, 1, 2 and say, alright, this has to be part of the 2, and we need to fit a 1 in here, and the only place that works is like that. That lets us narrow this bottom row down a little bit. We also can narrow this row down a little bit, because that's our 1. Can't have a pixel here, because then it would be a 6, so we know that all of this can be closed off. That's our 5. Know that a 3 vertically can't fit right there. Let's see. We've got a 6, 1 vertically. This has to be the 1. The rest of this can be closed off. That completes our 3 here. Can't fit a 2 right here. Means that this has to be filled in, which completes our 3. Great. Got a lower edge for our 5. Let's just complete that row. And now this has to be like that. Great. We need a vertical 2, so that has to go there. That closes that horizontal 1 off. need a pixel here to complete this 2. That leaves only 1 pixel for this 1. That completes our 1s on this one. That 2 is complete. We need a 4. We need a 5 here. And we need 2 here, so that completes that. Means we need a pixel here and here. Finally! That took a while. That took me a lot longer than I want to admit, but we got it. It's a hook shot, I think? Yeah. So there we go. Hook shot. Done. Alright. Nonogram 59. This is 12 wide and 15 tall. At 12 wide, that gives us confidence on these 10s. That they are, 2 pixels, wiggle room, and fill up the middle 8, no problem. And this 12 here, got complete confidence that all of it is filled in. And with the 8, there are 4 pixels of wiggle room, so we can go ahead and fill in those 4 pixels. With that in place, we've got a vertical 5, so we know that these have to be filled in. At its highest configuration that filled in. That does give us our 2 already, horizontally. We can also look at these vertical 9s and say, well, this has to be part of the same vertical 9. In fact, not a whole lot of wiggle room on this. We could go ahead and make some statements about this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 has to come up to at least there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 would be as high as it goes. Which means that these two have to be part of the 3, which means that it can't reach up to here. Fill this in as well while I'm at it. With those blocked off, that means that we couldn't fit a 6 over in here. It means that the 6 has to fill the remaining pixels. With that top edge established, we can say, alright, that these vertical 4s, they have to go here. And we can go ahead and close off those 5s there. We can also look at our verticals and say, vertical 3, well, vertical 3 requires that these pixels be filled in. And going a step further, vertical 3 requires that this pixel not be filled in, because then it would be a 4. These have to be filled in. And now we've got a vertical 1, go ahead and close off. Vertical 3 that we can go ahead and complete. There's only 1 pixel left for these vertical 1s. Close that off. And looking at these other 2 vertical 3s, we know that these pixels would have to be filled in one way or the other. Alright. Horizontal 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We know that these pixels cannot be filled in. Just gonna reach. That does mean that we've got these vertical 12s that we can go ahead and fill in a lot of. 1, 2. How many pixels we've got to work with? There's 13 pixels of space, so all but 1 pixel is going to be filled in. And look at this horizontal 3, 4, 3. We could have filled this in at the very beginning because there's only one way that that fits in. And we can also look at this horizontal 4, 4 and say, all right, well, that has to fit like this. There's no way that it doesn't fit like that. We can now look at our vertical. We've got the vertical 4, 1, 4, 2. 2 has to be here, which means this has to be part of the 4. This went wrong. Right here. There we go. there's the 4. Now there's room for a little bit of wiggle room on the 4. Or on the 1 in that vertical row. But looking horizontally, we've got a 3, 4, 3. There's only one way that fits in here, so we can go ahead and do that. With that up there, that then needs to be continuous with this for our vertical 7, and it does actually complete our vertical 7. Our vertical 7 completed, that leaves only 2 pixels here for our horizontal 10. Our horizontal 6 already completed, so go ahead and close that out. We got these horizontal 4s that would have to go like this. Horizontal 1s have to go like this, which leave our vertical 3s having to go here. We get this boulder face. So, Nonogram 59. Nice and done. Let's move on to Nonogram 60. It is 14 wide by 14 tall, which again, just like the last one, means that there's 2 pixels of wiggle room on these 12s. Boy, it's weird having all the edges like this. That's gonna be a great place for us to start from and just sort of fill in from the corners. So we need vertical, we'll start at the top. So vertical 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. Now I'm going sideways, horizontal 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 1. Looking at the bottom, I guess. Vertical 3. Vertical 4. Another 4. Oh, my fingers are starting to not cooperate. More 4s. 4s. Vertical 3. Why did I and now looking horizontally, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and 2. Alright, having this X here does mean that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 already filled in, good to go. Close that off. We can look at our horizontal 1, 1, 1, 1 and say, well, we've got 2 spaces left for our 1s, those have got to be there. Looking at our vertical 1, 9, 1, only 1 pixel available above our 9s, so that's got to be there. And now we know the full limits of those vertical 12s, which means that we know where our horizontal 12s are as well. We know that our 10s can't be here. And so now it's a case of fitting in this middle a little bit. And you've got some horizontal, or vertical 5s. We also got a horizontal 6 here. The 5s should be pretty easy, but the 6 is actually even more appealing. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 2 pixels of wiggle room on that 6. Has to be here. With our 5s, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 has to be filled in, and going the other way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these have to be filled in like this. That lets us now look at our 4 and say, well, 4 couldn't reach to here, 4 to here. Now we can look at our verticals and say, well, can't fit a 2 in this space, vertical 2 in this space, which only leaves 2 pixels for each of those 2s. With those in place, we now can put this out, say, this one has some 1s, great. Similarly, finish this 2 out. This one, these are 1s, so those are done. And we can say, there's only enough space for those 5s like that. Does complete this horizontal 2, this horizontal 2, and now we just need vertical 3. It's in 1 way. Got this 4 completed. There's only 2 pixels left for our 6. There we go, a pushable block, I believe. That's what that is. I hate leaving 58 incomplete. That's really bothering me. Let's keep going. We'll go to Nonogram 61. This is 7 pixels wide and 12 pixels tall, so starting with this convenient 7 pixel row that completes out, which then lets us close out this one and this one. Effectively limits our row to being 5 wide, which means that these horizontal 2s can only fit in 1 way, and this 5 of course can only fit in 1 way, and this 1 can only fit in 1 way. The 3, no matter what, is going to touch there, and looking further, we can look at this this vertical 6 and say, alright, you gotta go there, and your 4 has to go here. That completes out this horizontal row, and this horizontal row of 1 pixel, and this horizontal row of 1 pixel. We've also already completed this vertical 6. Close this out and this out. And with that in place, we can close out this 3, it's done. Say, hey, this vertical 1, 1 have to go here, and we get a house key. Nice and quick. On to Nonogram 62. Alright, it is 12 wide and 15 tall. 12 wide and 15 tall. I'm going to have to get a little smart. Let's start with these ones. So, 1 space, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, space 1. We know that those pixels have to be filled in with those 8s. That does actually tell us some stuff, because we can look at our horizontals and say, hey, you've got some 1s that would have to be those. There's not room for them to be otherwise. And we can look at these horizontal 3s and say, hey, you've got to be like that. Looking vertically, we've got 1, 1, 1, 1. So this has to be a 1, it has to be standalone. Go ahead and close that off. 1 space, 1 space, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That just has to be filled in. It is. This is an asymmetric design, so we're a little limited in what we can figure out. But we can look at this 5 and say, 5 has to fill in those pixels. And we can look at this horizontal 3 and say, well, you can't fill in these pixels. So that gives us a little more to work with. Going a step further, this horizontal 3, 3, the 3s couldn't reach to here. That's actually great. That confirms our 7 down here. So we've got all that filled in now. Expressions about that. 1 space, 1 space, 1 space, 1. You can safely assume that this has to be where our 5 is. There's just not room for the 1s to be elsewhere. 1 space, 1 space, 1, 1, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So our 1s actually only fit in one way up here. So we can go ahead and fill those in. But this row is nothing but 1s, we can go ahead and X that out. Same story here. Doesn't super help us, but you know, every little bit helps. This one we just don't know which side this 2 is on, so can't further deduce anything there. That further, can't take that further yet. 1 space, 1, 2, 3, 4 space, 1, 2 space, 1, 4, 1 space, 2. There, space, 1, 4, 1. We can do a little bit of figuring here, because this can't be part of the 4. 4 has to be over here. 1 pixel left or right on the 4. Same thing with this 2. The 2 could be either direction. That in place. Okay, and we pretty much could have figured this out already. We know that the 5's going to be below this X. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need 4 1s up here, and 4 1s only fits in one way. That actually is great news for us, because that means that we can close out this entire row, and can confidently say that this row doesn't have anything here, because the 2s simply wouldn't reach. With that blocked out, we know that we couldn't fit a 4 here, couldn't fit a 4 here. About all that we can do there. All we can do there. Few more assertions about that. Alright, here we go. On this horizontal 1, 1, 3, 1, 1, we know that the 1s are going to have to be on this side of this X and on this side of this X, which means that the 3 has to go here. So we can very confidently blank that in. With that blanked in, we can look at our vertical 117 and say, alright, that's one of our 1s. Then X that out. With that X'd out, X this out, because that's a 1. That row is entirely made out of 1s. There's not room for a 2 to fit in here and in here. The 1's gonna be here. This is one of the 2s. Can't fit a 2 here, because this 2 has to go here. With this here, couldn't fit another couple 1s above this, so this has to be one of our 1s. Means that this has to be our 3. So it comes down to at least here. That in place, that gives us our 4. That in place, that gives us our 2. Can't make any assertions about this column yet. This could be part of our 3, or it could be a standalone 1. We just don't know. Same story here. There could be a 3 right here, and then this is a 1, and then this is a 1. But we know that this couldn't be part of the 3. It couldn't reach down here, so we can go ahead and X that out. With that X out, that tells us that this is where this 3 has to go. Great news. Because that now gives us a lower edge for our 4 here. Finally, close off this edge. With that in place, we can also go ahead and close that off. horizontal ones, and we have to have a 1 in here. We know this column is nothing but 1, so we can go ahead and X that out. So, looking vertically, we know now that this is definitely the top edge of our 8. We can go ahead and plug that in, and now we can look at all these horizontal 1s and say they're like that. With those like that, there's not room for a 2 to fit in here and also here, and then this be the 1. This has to be part of a 2, this has to be part of a 2, so we can say can't reach T. That in place, we can look at our vertical and say, alright, well, we couldn't fit a 3 in this 1 pixel, so we have to X that out. With that X'd out, that means that the horizontal 3 here has to go over, to at least here, and then we can look at our vertical and say, alright, that's a vertical 1, we can go ahead and X that out, which now tells us where our 2 is. Go ahead and plunk that in. With that in, that means that our vertical 5 couldn't reach to here. It now gives us a left edge for our horizontal 3. Completes that row. With that in place, we now know a little bit more about the vertical 3 that we've got here, which completes our horizontal 3 here. Which means that we now know that this pixel has to be filled in for the next horizontal 3. You can also look at this horizontal 3, 3 and say, alright, this is one of the 3s. This has to be one of the others. Leftmost arrangement goes 1, 2, 3. Or to be more rightly oriented, 1 space 1, 2, 3. Either way, this pixel is filled in. That gives us our vertical 3 here. That's done. With that X in place, we can now say, alright, we've got our horizontal 2 completed. Horizontal 2 completed. We can say, alright, we've got a vertical 4 that we gotta have. There's only enough pixels for it to go here. That completes our horizontal 3 here. Which lets us complete our vertical 5 here. We can now also look at our horizontal 3, 3 and say, alright, these two can't be touching because this has to be here. It means that our vertical 3 is complete. With that X'd out, our horizontal 5 has to go here. So X this and this, because those are complete. Let's see. Can't quite nail that down yet. Ones. Our vertical 8 here has to come down to at least here. Which means that we've completed this row. Looking vertically, we've got a vertical 1, 1, 2, 4. We've got our 4 and our 2 completed. This has to be a 1, which now gives us a left edge for our horizontal 2. And looking vertically, we've got a 1, 1, 3. So this has to be a 1. So we can go ahead and close that off. That gives us a left edge for our horizontal 3, and that finally gives us a bottom edge for our vertical 4. Close all of this off. Means that there's only 1 pixel left for these ones to go here. We can also look at our horizontal ones here and close them off. This has to be the pixel left for that one. This column is nothing but 1s. That gives us the rest of our 8. Close that off. Still need 2 1s, and there's only 2 open pixels here. Got a horizontal 1, so this has to be closed out. Couldn't fit the 1 and the 3 in these 3 spots, so the 3 has to go here. means that we have to close this off and this off because that's vertical, and those columns are completely done. That means that our horizontal 2 has to go here and here. This is a vertical 1, so we can close that off. This is a vertical 1, so we can close that off. Horizontal 2, that has to go here. This has to go here. And we need one more pixel right here. We finally got a clock. That was a little taxing. With all of that in place, let's do one more. Alright, so yeah, 63. This nonogram is 11 wide and 13 tall. So at 11 wide, that's only 5 pixels of wiggle room, or 7. So we can go ahead and get it to at least here. I'm sorry, no. 4 pixels of wiggle room. My brain just fell off. That gives us a bottom edge for vertical 2, this vertical 1, this vertical 2. That gives us a left edge for this horizontal 4, and a right edge for this horizontal 4. Let's go ahead and close this row out. That gives us a lot of information. We can say that this 3 comes at least to here, this 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 comes up to at least here. We can go ahead and say this 1 has to be closed off like this. Also an 8, so it's going to come to at least here, and this 3 to that. That completes this row, and we can say, hey, 7 couldn't fit in here. In fact, a 7 now can only fit in this way. Go ahead and X all of that out. We can also look at our vertical 3s now and say, alright, those are good. We've also completed this row. We know that these horizontal 2s couldn't reach to here or to here. Couldn't fit a vertical 2 right here, so that's going to have to be closed off. Vertical 3 or horizontal 3s couldn't reach here. We know that those 2 are going to be separate. All of this has to be touching because it's a 9. Still 2 pixels of wiggle room there, so we can't really go further, but with that in place, we can say that's got to be our 2 right there. This row is nothing but 1s, so we can go ahead and X all of this off. We still need 2 more ones, and there's only 2 pixels, so that completes that. And now we can look at our verticals and say, alright, those are done, which now then means that we've only got 9 pixels, so this has to be like that. 3s have to be like that. And if we look vertically, we've got some vertical 3s that we need to complete. So those go like this and this. It's this row completed. We can look at our verticals and say, oh, 1, 1. Well, we've already got 2 pixels filled in, so we're done with that and that. Means that our horizontal 3s have to be like this. That can be corroborated by the vertical 2s that we needed. And look vertically and say, hey, already completed these 8s. Means that this 3 and this 3 have to fill in that pixel. That completes this row. Space 1, 2. This pixel and this pixel have to be filled in for those vertical 2s, which does complete that row for us. Pretty much gotta be symmetric, right? So if it is symmetric, then we can say It's gotta be like that. That's gotta be like that. That's gotta be like that. This, like this. There we go. Enter. That is Nonogram 63. Alright, I think I'm going to call it here. I want to keep going, but even numbers versus even time lengths. I think this is a good place to stop. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Appreciate y'all. I'm definitely gonna come back to Nonogram 58. That's bothering me. I will catch y'all later. Bye.